Hey people, it's me again. So, anyways, I'm just walking on the trail that is by the park that's near the house. So, although I haven't really showed you that before, that as you can tell, it's like I'm not wearing my watch. The the battery for that watch died a couple of days ago, and so I'm in the process of getting a new one. So I just have to wait for everybody else to kind of take care of all that. At least it was just mom. I mean, mom was going to take care of that. Although I probably should have just waited. But all it is just simply just going to whatever Sears or one of those places just to get the battery replaced. So, anyways, as I'm saying right now, it's like I'm already headed towards like the whole part of the trail where it starts to go uphill for a while and then it has to go downhill again. You know. So, anyways, I have to kind of be a little bit careful about it. But after this part, there's a part that's kind of like really steep as far as going down, and I've always had a little bit of difficulty going down this part. But, anyways, a few times I think it was kind of around freshman year of high school, and I think when I stopped going on the bus, as far as on the way to and from school, but they had this weird system of things where I had to ride this one bus all the way to the transfer to another bus that was going to transfer to the other bus at the middle school, and then go and then get off and ride around that part. And I think I just felt too uncomfortable having to explain to all the middle school kids why I was riding on their bus. So I basically stopped doing it. But anyways, here it is again, as I was saying before. It's that really steep part of the hill of this little part of the trail that's kind of a little bit difficult to manage for some people. Because right after this, I'm going to probably might slip or something. So here it is. I'm just holding onto the branches with my left hand, and then holding onto the camera, which is kind of a little bit difficult. So now we're at the more manageable part. So, anyways, as I was saying before, that I just got sick and tired of having to explain it to all those middle school kids why I was going on their bus. So, a couple of times I would just have to walk all the way back and forth, or sometimes I would have mom and dad or Corey or even Ryan pick me up from school sometimes. And then it wasn't until a little bit later on, I think they kind of decided, well, maybe it's better to have like a bus there that actually picks me up to and from the house to school. But the problem was, it would pick me up like almost like a half an hour or 45 minutes before the school actually starts. So about the time I got there, it was like about 7 o'clock in the morning. And then usually school didn't start until 7:45. As far as the first period or second period. But we had like block days, so. But I had to kind of go around and explain it to people about if anybody that hadn't really gone to my school or any of like the other schools in the district, And I don't know as far. I think it was also the same way with any like the schools and the neighboring district. Also did block days. But I don't know if this is just some sort of thing that we do down here as far as the schools. But I don't know if there was other places that also do block days. So, anyways, as far as with the block days, they would just simply have more time to do whatever the subject is and more in depth. That they would have probably at least like 2 hours, or maybe even I would say like 2 hours, but sometimes it could be like an hour and a half, or depending on whatever it is with the assembly schedules, and sometimes. And it was like a whole lot easier than just basically having it more like doing it like 1 hour and 1 hour there, and you hardly ever get anything done, especially on some of the subjects, So, anyways, even though there was like a lot of criticism about the whole block day schedule, so, anyways, as I was kind of saying here, it's about, I think it's about like 5 o'clock or 5:30, I can't even remember now, but it's probably be about early enough that nobody really cares. Plus, there are usually sometimes people that will go jog around here when it's still dark. Those the real exercise enthusiasts who kind of wanted to do all their kind of routine around that even early on, but so anyways, as I was kind of saying, it was kind of like right around that time with freshman year and all that. I would like go around and walk all these little trails around here sometimes. So I was actually already having my own exercise in some ways, But then I would also like walk all the way up from the hill, from one of those trails over there to the house, which is kind of a little bit, which isn't really that bad. I think it was just mom or dad had their own concerns. But now it's like that other trail that kind of runs up around here. The path is all overgrown. I don't know what had happened there, but I think it might have been a lot of other stuff there. So, anyways, I think a lot of times I just had a little bit of a difficulty with Dad around that time, because I think Dad was just trying too hard to kind of get closer to me, And then a couple times it just kind of comes off as just him being kind of annoying me in ways. You know how it is. But I think it was until probably during like my sophomore, maybe junior year, when my relationship with him started to get a lot better. Where he was actually kind of realizing that he needed to listen to me and all that sort of stuff, and venting on all the kind of problems that I was having in high school, whether it was just Mr. O'Connell being a prick. Okay, I said it, but then sometimes he could be that way, but then I think, as I kind of said, like a lot of times on LiveJournal and maybe on here, that it was hard for that teacher to gain my respect for him, And in some ways it was kind of like that he couldn't really just simply have that respect just be handed out to him on a silver platter, It had to be earned, just like how I had to earn his respect. So I think it was until the last semester of high school when I kind of finally understood where I was going, and all those other little things, that I didn't like being in that math class because it was too hard for me. But however, I would say that I didn't like being in that math class with him because it was too easy. And then I kind of wanted some sort of class that was kind of in the middle as far as with the math class, But that I still had I still had an English class, and then a U.S. government class with him, as well as being a teacher's aide that time during third period, I think. But as for everything, as far as that goes, great. I'm kind of losing my train of thought here. But it was hate having to digress here in some cases, but this is one of the whole picnic areas there. It was probably right around here, or maybe it was the other one where we had that end of the year party during freshman year. But it was also one time I think we were over here. I'm referring to maybe now Mom and me, but the other time it's just me and the entire class was over here during that time in '96 in the freshman year, having that one party of them over here. I think we actually had somebody drove us there to here, But as I was saying, I was over here for for one of my classmates' birthday party in second grade. I think it was Adam. Now I remember it was Adam that I had that birthday party, but Adam was, I think he was a jerk. So we went to that birthday party anyways, just to see all the friends there. And although I hadn't really, I think I might have explained to you guys about as far as any of friends that I had that are kind of close in some degree. I think the first friend that I had that was really kind of close was Steven. But I don't know what had happened to him, really, I mean, I don't know if he's on his own or if he's still living with his foster parents, But the whole story with him was that he was I think he was adopted by the family, but I don't really remember exactly what the whole story was. But Steven had a speech impediment, and so he couldn't really talk that well, and that in some ways that kind of annoyed him in a way, that he had a hard time getting people to understand him. So, as I was kind of saying, is that I was kind of friends with him. I don't know. I keep thinking maybe it was kindergarten or part of kindergarten, but I know definitely it was first and second grade as far as that goes. So this was just the whole 86, 87 school year as far as for kindergarten, and then 87, 88, and then the 88, 89 school year for second grade. So, anyways, I think, let's see, I think I went to, because I think what happened was I transferred over to like Viejo for then leaving after that's after going to Argentina for a while, And I think at that time I kind of missed being. I missed being in. I missed being in Stephen's class an entire year. So then it wasn't until about fourth grade when I was in Stephen's CCD class. For anybody that probably doesn't really know, like CCD is like short for like the there's also another way of saying like catechism, for anybody who was raised up in the Catholic Church, So this is where I met my friend Matt, who I would say that I'm pretty much good friends with now, to this day. That I was like friends with him since that CCD class, and I had to probably explain it to like people, but I think it was kind of like right around maybe like fifth grade when I met Matt during that CCD class. I was only probably taking that class maybe about for a couple months or so, and I think I kind of gotten bored of it, and that's where I kind of lost contact with Stephen. I think it was probably around fifth grade, maybe even sixth grade at that time. When they had the whole Hurricane Andrew. I'm joking. I'm laughing a little bit because then here it is like there was like Hurricane Andrew, but then I don't know if there was actually a Hurricane Scott or a Hurricane Ricky or something like that, or Hurricane Ela or Hurricane Josh, that sort of story, But anyways, I digress, So, anyways, as I was kind of saying before, as far as I forgot to mention that I also had one of my friends in my classes that was also taking the CCD class, Tony, that he was in my class for third and fourth grade, but I think he kind of moved away during fifth grade. But it was kind of maybe around and then I think one of the other friends was also like or I should say classmates, I should say. I keep saying friends, even though I never really spent a lot of time with them out of school in some cases, but or never really hanged out around. But then the only time I ever really hanged out in or had any friends come over was like Lisa, and then Lisa was actually one of the friends that I'd known since third grade, and then I've known Amy since like third grade as well, and I've known like Tisha since third grade. I mean fifth grade. I'm getting my grades all mixed up, but it was Rachel third grade and Melissa third grade, but I think I might have talked to her, but I don't think Melissa had ever really remembered me. I mean, the last time I actually ever really had like some sort of conversation with her, it was like around junior year, but I don't think she even remembered me anymore. She probably would have, and then of course there was also Alice. I don't know if she's on Facebook, but Alice, I'd known her since fourth grade, and then there was also Sarah, who I'd known since fourth grade. I think speaking of Sarah, it was about a couple of years ago, I think, where I had like a dream where I think I was telling her about that, the reason why Miss Levitt kind of held her back a grade, from fourth grade going on to fifth grade, was because I think she probably thought that Sarah wasn't ready to go up to fifth grade. I mean, she was kind of a little bit immature sometimes, but then I think I was just kind of being, I think I was just being a little bit shaky with her, because sometimes I would be not her friend, and sometimes I would be her friend, but I think I was just wanted to be her friend there, but I was kind of embarrassed that if I was like being her friend and all the other classmates wouldn't like me for some reason, you know, that sort of thing. Well, as far as the other stuff that was going on besides that, it was great. I lost my train of thought again. I mean, and now it's like it's gonna take a while for me to get it back up. But and plus I've been like talking for about almost 20 minutes. But although I think I could probably do it a little bit while longer before the battery starts to run out. So, anyways, as I was saying, that I was kind of a little bit embarrassed as far as actually like being her friend, because I thought that some of the other kids over there would have been upset with me as far as me being friends with her, So, anyways, the next, I think the next friend I could also say that was kind of close to besides Matt or Lisa in a way, but I would say as far as with Matt that I didn't start becoming a little bit more closer with him until like around middle school. And then maybe a little bit more closer then around high school. Because Matt was kind of like was one of the popular kids, And then the funny thing is that when I was like in middle school and high school, I think even though I was just more of the nerd or the outcast, but I got along with most of the people there. There might have been a couple of the ones like the bully cliques or whatever the ones there that wouldn't ordinarily get along, And there were a lot of other things that I probably had as far as with the drama there. But I wouldn't really go into specific details on that sort of thing, Not yet. Not yet. But I think the whole story with was as far as with Todd, although I think I had mentioned I've mentioned him a few times on my life journal in the past, and I don't know if I ever really mentioned it on here. But as far as with Todd was actually like my best friend since 8th grade, I think. Yeah, it was 8th grade, so that was like 95. The whole 95, so I think my whole friendship with him kind of lasted like 8 years. But I think I kind of gone my separate ways around in 03. Like at the end of 03. But this was right, I think, around the time when I was kind of already coming out a little bit, and and then maybe it was also kind of time for me to go my separate ways with him, But although in some ways I kind of wish I would be able to talk to him again, and to catch up with him and see how things are going with him. But who knows, really? Who knows? So the funny thing is that I never really had any kind of feelings for Todd, honestly. I mean, honestly, I never really had any kind of feelings for him that way. Although, stereotypically, it's always usually when it's usually like when it's two guy friends and one's gay and the other one's straight. It's usually like the gay one always tends to develop feelings for the straight best friend, like that. Kind of like a Will and Grace kind of thing, But then again, it could also be like the same way if it was like like a straight male and a lesbian. And then the guy would also eventually harbor some sort of feelings like that, Or if it was a straight female and a lesbian, that kind of thing too. If that was ever really the case there too, but honestly with me, it never really happened, I think I think to a certain aspect, I think I was kind of crushing on some straight guys there around high school, not to say specifically, but there was just this one jock guy, you know, around sophomore year, and I think that kind of thing kind of faded after like junior year, I think, and I didn't really had any kind of crushes on anybody until it was probably around the time when I started the whole adult transition. It was kind of funny, I I start developing feelings for somebody that I can't really have. Anyways, even if that guy actually went my way, but there was just too much of an age difference there. I mean, I was already 18, and then I was already like 18, and then that guy was already like about just my age at the time, But who knows? Who knows, really? And then there was also another guy there, too, but then it was also simply because they were like one of the teacher's aides, I wouldn't really go around and say specifically as far as that goes, especially if one of my old teachers is actually watching this, but I think that sort of thing kind of lasted for a while, and then I think it was about during that second year that I was there, that was when I thought this was kind of really strange, of me, that here I know I was like gay and all that, and here I started developing an attraction for a girl, or somewhat of an attraction. I mean, I think maybe I might have convinced myself it was an attraction somewhere along the lines when maybe it was just something else entirely. So the funny thing is that there was this girl, Keiko, that was in my piano class, but I think I was just a little bit hesitant because I think maybe she was seeing this guy, because the way they were interacting together, it seemed like they were boyfriend and girlfriend, and even though maybe I was probably wrong that they were just friends, to tell the truth. And then maybe I might have had like somewhat of a chance if I would have just talked to her a couple times. But then again, it wouldn't even really matter because the truth is I would have ended up using her as a beard in some ways. Especially around that time when I wasn't really ready to come out yet. So here's like the whole. So I had to stop this for at least pause a little bit before I start going on again.
Hi, John. Yeah. Oops, sorry.
Ow. I think I accidentally pressed into one of the little thistles. Great. This whole path gets a little bit narrow around here, so mind me, folks, okay? So, oh great, I lost my train of thought again. So, anyways, as I was kind of saying that I was going to end up like using Keiko as a beard. Especially when I wasn't really like ready to kind of come out just yet, But then again, I think as far as the whole process for me took me like, oh wait, what was it like? I kind of said it was like about at least, February to like November, I think, or maybe even December. It was November. February to November, so that would have been like 9 months. So that was like a 9-month long process for me coming out, you know. But not without help. No.
No, okay. والله كذاب عنده تليفونه.
Pardon like the interruptions, you know. So, anyways, I'm doing this as best as I can. So, anyways, as I was kind of saying, it took maybe more about like 9 months for me to do this. Ow! It's tipping on it all funny, you know. But, anyways, as I was kind of saying, I was like stepping on all this sort of stuff all funny. So, here it is. I'm already like walking all the way back, you know. But, although I feel like, well, I don't know if I really want to stop it or not, you know, but anyways, I wanted to kind of continue on and doing all of this sort of thing. So, anyways, as I was kind of seeing that it took me like 9 months to come out, but not without like help from some people. So I would say as far as like the help that I had was to start, even though I think I had mentioned it to people on here as far as my video for like It's Better, and that it was this one woman that kind of ran the Dallas chapter of PFLAG. And then I think you guys probably better know what like whole PFLAG stands for. So it's Parents and Friends of Lesbians and Gays. And that organization has been around since, I think since like the mid or late 70s. And although you guys can look it up as far as how the whole thing had started. So, anyways, now here I have to go manage this downhill part. I was going uphill about a half an hour ago or so. So, anyways, as I was kind of saying, as far as that goes, not only that I had help there, but I also had help with I had help with, what's his name? I keep forgetting the psychiatrist's name, you know, but it was some psychiatrist in Grapevine, and I think it was kind of like the first. It was like the first session that I had with him. While we were like signing the whole papers and stuff like that, and while we were waiting for him, there was I think there was this one gay couple. They're probably just about my age, maybe a little bit older. I don't know. They were like there as far as for couples counseling. Yeah, but I don't know what the whole specifics about that sort of thing. So, anyways, I think the next story goes as far as that he was kind of helping me out as far as the initial phase of like coming out, where I have to get over all this sort of little guilt and all that sort of stuff that because I'm not straight as everybody else is, and I'm not this or that as everybody else is. So I'm just me, and I had to learn to accept that part of myself, you know, at least fully accept that part of myself. So, and there was all this other stuff that was going around there. So, as I was kind of seeing in the next phrase there, you know, and then I didn't see like another psychiatrist there till, I think it was till about 6 years ago. I think it was about that time, like in April or May in that year, and I kind of saw him for maybe a few years as far as like talking about all the other stuff there, you know. But then I think around that time is when I had a hard time dealing with the breaking up with Eloy. The funny thing is, now that when I look back at all of it, is that I kind of really wanted to break up with him first, you know, rather than the other way around, you know. And I was already kind of getting tired of him and tired of doing this sort of thing with him, you know. Because I pretty much waited for him for like in about a year to at least to realize what if he actually likes me or not, you know. And then here it was, he finally actually likes me back, and when it's almost pretty much a little bit too late for him to start liking me back. I mean, I was kind of wanting him to kind of do that sort of thing since day one, you know. But then again, it's probably not necessarily my fault. They had a hard time figuring me out. So I probably should have been a little bit more patient there, but it wouldn't even matter because I was only going to be staying there for maybe about another couple more weeks or a couple months or so as far as over there until things cooled down over here. But I had to kind of explain it a little bit that I was going through some family problems in '03, and so I decided to go and live with Mom over there in Dallas. And Mom was living over there because she had like a job there. So it wasn't really necessary saying that Mom and Dad were like living there because they were like divorced or anything. Mom and Dad are like still together. It was just simply Mom had a job over there and was living there. And the same thing I kind of explained to people now. It's just that Mom has a job over in San Diego and then comes up to visit everybody on the weekends. So, anyways, as I was kind of saying, it was not just Eloy, but it was Josh in a way that I also liked as well. But I kind of basically say here is that I was only attracted to Eloy physically and sexually, but I wasn't really attracted to him mentally or emotionally. And I wasn't really attracted to Josh physically and sexually, but I was attracted to him mentally and emotionally. And so I had a hard time trying to defer the two, you know, or at least try to reconcile that sort of thing, that split attraction there between two people. But as I kind of said earlier before, is that it probably wouldn't even matter anyways, even if I had chose to go out with either one of them, because I would have left them behind, you know, when I go back home to here, to tell the truth. So, anyways, although I think I'm probably going to continue on a little bit further, you know. So, anyways, as I was saying with Eloy and Josh, that took me kind of quite a while for them to get over both of them, to tell the truth. I think in some ways it took me probably about 4 months to get over Eloy. And it took me also about an entire year and a half for me to get over Josh. But it also took me like an entire year to get Eloy to completely disappear out of my life because he was being a bit of a stalker, on MySpace. Always like getting jealous of every guy that garnered my attention, or any guy who was just simply being nice to me and was just flirting around with me. But as I kind of said to like one of the friends who kind of broke the whole news there, that, or I should say ex-friend there, that Eloy was jealous of me, and then the fact that he would never really admit it, because he probably had told every friend of his that I was some sort of weirdo, and that if he had admitted to actually being jealous of me, his friends would have looked down on him for whatever reason. I don't really understand why he had to get so jealous of me. If he just admitted all along the entire time that he actually liked me, and he would have at least just would have asked me out on a date like a long time ago instead of just making me wait entirely. But as I said before, it wasn't necessarily his fault, because at the time it was just Mom was on my back for every little thing. And it was the same way with Dad, when it was like with Ricky, that he was on my back for every little thing. But they were just simply didn't want to get me hurt and blah, 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 blah. But sometimes it's just that you have to kind of let them get hurt in a way, because they'll get over it eventually at some point. But as I was already saying about, not just with Eloy, but it was also, or Josh, but it was also like Matt, and I already said before, but this was a different Matt, But this was the guy that kind of already talked about numerous times that he was bothering me, back in 06. But I think I kind of tried to see his whole attraction to me in his point of view, but I think all I saw there was that he was just simply attracted to me physically, and that was it. It just wasn't really that attracted to me anything else. And in spite of him like going around convincing himself otherwise, that was just simply him kind of convincing himself that he was like in love with me at the time. When he was just really just horny. Which I kind of don't really like with certain guys, that why can't they just simply just be honest to say what they really want to say as far as their whole feelings are. But I was kind of saying before, it's now here I'm like already getting very close to the street, and that you can't really hear me talk a lot. But anyways, as I was kind of saying before, it was just that whatchamacallit was great. I'm getting all mixed around again. I'm saying that I was saying that as far as with Matt, it took me at least about 6 months about at least almost 5 or 6 months for him to get him to realize that the things with me weren't going to happen, But as I kind of said, it's just that Matt would have a chance if he just didn't act so desperate and clingy around me, and if he would have at least show me in some ways that he was actually attracted to me other than just physically. But it seemed like most of the time I think he was just simply attracted to me just physically or sexually in that way. And I kind of wanted him to at least be just to at least kind of get to know me a little, not going around asking me what I do for a living and all that, and what my mother's maiden name is and all that sort of stuff. You know, getting like way too close for comfort. And that was kind of the whole reason why I never really liked him that much. And it's like the case with some of the other guys, so. Although, as I would say before, even though I probably had, she basically stopped talking about Drew, you know, even though I already said in the last couple of videos, you know, that I'm leaving it at that, you know, as far as that he was just not really ready. I think as far as that goes, maybe he probably had to lie in a way, and that no matter which way he would have sliced it, there would have been some sort of little bit of a rift there. You know, if he said that he just wasn't really ready to have a relationship just yet. Or not that, I don't know if there was any good way of saying it, you know, because some people just say, I'm not ready for a relationship, and then they run off to another person just like that, you know. When in reality they should have said, like, you came on too strong, that sort of thing. Or whatever it was, but although I admit that I probably might have came on a little bit too strong for him, you know. And I kind of admit that not only that I was fault there, but I think I was also at fault for getting upset with him in the past few months, you know. I mean, it was like right around March, I think, when I got upset with him. But here it is. I'm now like leaving him alone. Not entirely, but I think maybe just kind of calling him at least every other couple of weeks, I guess. You know, not that it even mattered then. You know. And then the fact is, I think that guy just still likes me. You know. I mean, it was obviously that he had like a huge thing for me, you know, and that he just wasn't really ready to admit it just yet, or had a lot of things to deal with, and was hurt and all that sort of stuff, you know, all these other things that come into play, and that I just have to kind of leave him alone for a while, you know. But so, anyways, I think that's probably it because the battery started to get really low. So, talk to you guys later. Bye.